You're welcome to DBA TV, where we discuss everything international trade. In this series, you are going to be learning about what each of the Nigerian states have to offer as far as export is concerned. I have maintained that Nigerian states are billionaires in dollars and that they can be self-sufficient, but because a number of governors comes in with not the intention of generating income, but with the intention of sharing the money. But in this particular episode, we have put together a series of video for all the Nigerian states from Abia to Zamfara, and this to enable the new governors that are coming in, or the new administration in different states of the country, to be able to take a cue from what we've shared in this video, which, by the way, covers the peculiarity of each state apart from the preamble. It talks about the profile of the profit, of the debt and income of the state. It talks about the potential of the state. It talks about the purchaser of the product the state have to offer, and of course, the exportable product, and also the proposal we have for the state, and how the state can directly profit from exporting raw materials, manufactured goods, solid minerals, and agri-commodity. I believe this will be of interest to you and maybe to your governor or to commissioner, whoever it is in your state. Thank you very much for joining. Enjoy yourself as you learn through what maybe your state is what we are looking at today, what Nigerian state have to offer. Happy listening. Thank you very much. Through preamble, peculiarities, profile, potential, purchaser, proposal, and profit. This is what we do every week, just going around Nigerian states and proving that even though the governor tells us the states are not viable, but in our opinion, Nigerian states are viable. In fact, I see them as millionaires in dollars, only that we have leaders who are used to collecting salary or allowance or allocation from Abuja every month and choose not to do what they need to do for their people, and which is why we must ask questions. So let's get into Katsina State. First of all, why should this state consider export? Through export, the state can avoid dependence or over-dependence on federal allocation. Export can help in boosting the GDP of the state. Export can create opportunity for SME to grow, decrease dependence on domestic market, help the state to earn proceeds and grow revenue. Through export, farming and rural life can become more lucrative. As a matter of fact, the country also, the state is also able to gain global market share and recognition. The competition resulting from exporting value added can make the state the home of creativity and innovation. It can be a sort of industrialization for the state and job creation opportunity also for the state. Help also to know the export can help the state to know the value of it and its competitive advantage. The value and its competitive advantage. Export can help the state to lead the way for other states to follow. It can help the state to lead the way for other states to follow. It can make the state to become independent of federal government. In fact, there are numerous incentives for exporters in this state, and there are opportunities to maximize indigenes of these states abroad. Export is a source of poverty eradication in the state. It can help the state to quit the league of states depending on wasting assets like oil. It can help to revive the economy of the state, slow down rural and urban migration, a tax-free opportunity for the exporters in the state. It can help the state to utilize its idle capacity. This business in the state to utilize its idle capacity. Viability of the state are boosted through export. It's a wealth creation opportunity for the state, actually. It can help in extracting the potential product for export in this state. Yearn for more employment because of competition and zero in on their area of strength. So here is the question I will ask again today. What do you see in Katsina State? What do you see in Katsina State today? What do you see in Katsina State today? Do you see unemployment? Of course, there are unemployment. And like I say every week, I'm not denying the fact that we have challenges as a country. I'm only saying there are opportunities that we can leverage on in spite of the challenges that each state in Nigeria face. What do you see in Katsina State? Do you see unemployment? Do you see poverty? Do you see frustration? Or you choose to see opportunities in farming, opportunities in mining, and opportunities in the population of Katsina State, or opportunities in the population of Katsina State. We will now go into the peculiarity of the state. What are the peculiarities of Katsina State? What are the peculiarities of Katsina State? Katsina was carved out of Kaduna State in September 23, 1987 by General Ibrahim Babangida's regime. From pre-colonial times to the present, Katsina State has always been shining star of the north. It's not only the cultural pace setter in the region, it's also the best set of 7 historic Hausa states that form the nucleus of what is today called Northwest. The state is bounded in the east by Kano, in the west by Sokoto, in the south by Kaduna, and the north by Niger Republic. Katsina State is the largest cotton producer in Nigeria. This is the state that will not have money to pay salary, but the state that doesn't have enough money to provide infrastructure, but this state is the largest producer of cotton. Always remember, Nigeria is, we have not utilized most of our arable land. Most of our farmers are peasants, and we have huge post-harvest losses. In spite of this deficiency, this state is the largest producer of cotton in Nigeria. It has 2 emirates, which feature prominently in the establishment of the 7 Hausa kingdoms. The Katsina was founded by Kumayo, and before the Fulani conquest had been an important seat of learning and commercial center of the trans-Saharan trade. In the sub-Saharan trade. Okay, someone just said the replay is now available on the YouTube channel. Okay, I would confirm from my colleague and get back to you. I'll confirm from my colleague and get back to you on that, please. It should be on the YouTube channel, but I'll confirm from him. Thank you. This state occupies 24,192 square kilometers. And the state has huge investment opportunities in agri, healthcare, tourism, energy, and mining. Katsina State has 34 local governments with a huge population of about 8 million people. One of the most populous states in Nigeria, 8 million people. The vegetation is tropical savanna. Major crop, cotton, sorghum, sugarcane, tomato, soya beans, onion. Solid minerals, basalt, diamond, feldspar, granite, graphite, gold, iron, kaolin, manganese, nickel, and uranium. This state is the largest producer of cotton and soybean and sesame seed. Largest producer of cotton, soybeans, and sesame seed in Nigeria. Largest producer of sorghum. Largest producer of sorghum. Second largest producer of sorghum. Major producer of cereal and legumes. Second largest producer of tomato. Second largest producer of hibiscus flower. Largest deposit of kaolin in Nigeria. So there's very opportunity in livestock, in cotton, in feed mill, in sorghum, in diamond, in soybeans, in tomato, in onion, in gold, in wind or solar energy. This state have enormous potential. The state ranks 6 out of 37 in starting business and 5 out of 37 in enforcing contract. Working population in this state is 4.49 million people. 2.7 are not in labor force. 2.7 are not in labor force. The profile. Look at the IGR of this state. 11.4 billion as of 2020 from IGR, but federal allocation 6.25 billion. 6.25 billion. 65.2 billion rather. Now, we are going to look at the income, the budget of the state, and then compare afterwards. Look at the debt profile. So you see the debt profile growing. This state debt is 69.38 billion. As of 2020. Let's check other information about Katsina State. Do you notice something? But for federal allocation, Katsina State cannot survive. Katsina State total revenue, only 14% is what Katsina State generates. Only 14%. 85% is from Abuja. So when you have this kind of scenario, it's going to be tough for such a state to develop. Do you also notice something in this state? The state is not doing any capital expenditure. Capital expenditure is about 21%. Basically spending money on recurrent expenditure. So no infrastructure have been built. And this is the case with many states in Nigeria. Despite the fact that Katsina State is the largest producer of cotton and one of the largest producers of sesame seed, all these are exportable products from Nigeria. Which is why I said we need to begin to ask important questions so that whoever is going to lead in 2023, you can't depend on Abuja as a governor. And because oil revenue has gone down, that's the reason why you are not able to perform. And that seems to be a legitimate excuse. Can you imagine that? Let's see what Budget have to say about this state. According to budget, on the report of Nigerian state, Katsina State is the 5th most populous state in Nigeria, with an allocation of 68.4, allocated 68.4 to the current, 68.4 to the current, and 11.3 to capital expenditure. However, the state cannot even implement as such. This state added 432 personnel to its payroll between April and December 2020 during COVID, and removed 1,260 personnel from its payroll within the same period. In the same vein, it's estimated that Katsina overhead costs were drastically reduced compared to 2019 in the light of the fact that the state was shut down for a couple of months during COVID. In 2020, capital spending in critical sector of the state was not prioritized. This state, the state implemented poorly the capital budget for its economic sector, having disbursed only 12.8% for capital to fund Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources and 10.33% allocated for employment and social intervention, and 18.21% of the funds set aside for capital funding, capital spending for Ministry of Commerce. Following a similar trend out of 15.34 billion and 29.91 billion allocated to Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health, capital expenditure usually entails spending on assets, but interestingly, Katsina included debt servicing in its capital expenditure. Can you imagine? This is an anomaly compared to other states. Although, so that means in the real sense of the word, Katsina really has not actually achieved what it claimed to achieve in terms of capital, because some things were added to capital expenditure that really are not supposed to be added to capital expenditure. Let's look at the potential of this state. The economy of the state is basically agrarian, with a cultivatable 2.4 million hectares of land, out of which 1.6 is under cultivation, living area of 800 hectares equivalent to 1/3 of the total cultivatable land available for investment. The state also has over 61 water bodies suitable for irrigation farming, with a capacity of 1,121 cum cubic meter. The major water bodies with a combined water surface area of 558 cubic meter is located in Sapke, Jibia, and Guagwe. Farming and rearing of animals constitute means of livelihood of about 80% of the population of the state. The state is a major collection center for cash crops such as cotton, groundnut, food crops such as maize, guinea corn, millet, and vegetable. The range of livestock in the state is cattle, sheep, goat, and poultry. This provides huge opportunities for setting up of large-scale agro-allied industry, such as sugar processing, rice milling, oil, flour milling, textile, dairy production, confectionery, meat processing, tannery, and poultry production. The state had the following ranking in agricultural production and other business spaces in the country. It's the largest producer of cotton, second largest producer of sorghum, produces 30% of Nigerian sugarcane, placing it second place in Nigeria. World Bank ranked the state as the 7th on the ease of doing business. As the 7th on the ease of doing business. ahead of Lagos, ahead of Kano, ahead of Rivers, and ahead of Cross River. The state ranked 12 in micro, small, and medium enterprise development. The state ranked 17 in GDP with average per capita of $6,000. A major producer of other cereals and legume crops. The state is blessed with abundant minerals resources that could be tapped for industrial growth. Prominent among these include lead, iron oxide, gold, iron ore, manganese, kaolin, silica, sand, fire clay, asbestos, feldspar, mica, serpentine, gemstone, precious stone, and the like. The availability of various types of crop cultivated in the state provided an opportunity for the setting of agro-allied industry. As previously stated, cotton, beans, tomato, pepper, groundnut, millet, maize, guinea corn, and raw material for various types of industry. Leather and shoe manufacturing industry are feasible because of the availability in commercial quantity of hide and skin in all the nooks and crannies of the state. Funtua Textile Factory, which employ over 1,000 workers, depend heavily on cotton, produced in Funtua, Bankori, Dume, Sabwa, Faskari, Danja, and all these other local governments in the state. The availability of these raw materials offer wide-ranging opportunities for setting up of more commercial and industrial venture in the state. The two oil mills situated in Katsina and Funtua depend on groundnut and cotton seed for their raw material requirement. Now, who are the purchasers? And what is the potential opportunities in terms of market size for this product? Who are the purchasers? Who are the purchasers? Let's look at soybeans, one of the products produced or commodity produced by this state. The market size for soybeans is about 55.2 billion. The budget of this state in 2022 is 311 billion. You know, sometimes some states in Nigeria, I can't just understand. How can a state be budgeting over 311 billion when the state does not have any revenue? Is the budget just a means of funfair to just say, okay, this is our projection this year? On what basis? Where is the money going to come from? And that's why most of the budget implementation is very low. Very, very low. Why is it low? It's low because the state do not have the capacity to do what they claim they want to do. But from soybeans alone, if the state can just take up, even if it's 5%, not even 10%, too. Even if it's 1%, 1% is 0.5 billion. Even if it's 1% of this soybeans market, soybeans demand in Africa is 1.73. Look at the cotton. Remember cotton. This is what this state needs to be known for. Cotton. $53.6 billion. Demand in Africa is 5 billion. Who are those buying this cotton? China, Vietnam, Turkey, Bangladesh, Italy, Pakistan, Egypt, India, United States, Honduras, Mexico are the countries that we buy in Africa. Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia, South Africa, Gambia, Mali, Benin, Mauritius, Kenya, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Algeria, Sudan, Madagascar are the major market for this product. Corn, $36.3 billion market. For corn, $33.6 billion market. From Japan to South Africa to Spain to Germany to Egypt to Iran to China to Mexico. And in Africa, Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, South Africa, $3.73 billion. How about granite? For granite, you have China, Indonesia, Vietnam, Netherlands, Russia, Mexico, Canada. Import granite. Look at the market, $3.19 billion. In Africa, the demand is $171 million. Algeria, South Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, Rwanda, Libya, and Mozambique. What else does this state have to offer? Onion, $7.1 billion. Onion, $7.1 billion. Indonesia, Vietnam, Germany, United States, Canada, Brazil, Japan, Germany, France. And in Africa, $380 million. Senegal, Guinea, Mali, Mauritania, Cote d'Ivoire, Mozambique, Angola, Morocco, South Africa, Mauritius, Tunisia, Sierra Leone, Libya, Sudan, Gambia, and Kenya. Raw sugarcane. Remember, sugarcane is one of the major products this state have potential to export. Raw sugarcane. $11.4 billion. Indonesia, China, South Korea, Japan, Iraq, Malaysia, Saudi, Algeria, Nigeria, Morocco, Egypt, Kenya, United States, Canada. But in Africa, the demand is $2.37 billion. Algeria, Morocco, Kenya, South Africa. Now, why is this data necessary? What we are trying to prove here is this. Katsina State have commodities that can be exported with huge demand, not just in Africa, in many countries around the world. The question we should be asking ourselves is, why will a state like this not consider export of this product? Why? Our state governors are used to going to Abuja to collect money. There is no incentive to do export. Why can't the state export to generate money? And I'll be showing how Katsina State can do that before I close today. Let's move on now to the proposal. Here is my proposal to Katsina State government. For all these commodities, if the state is going to benefit, if the SM is going to grow, the state must do something. Number one, if you look at the way most businesses, value chain of most businesses in Nigeria are today, the same SM is handling production and harvesting. Same SME doing primary processing and storage, secondary processing and packaging, and tertiary and marketing, sales, logistics, and export and distribution. The same business. In some cases, only SMEs, even they own at different places, only SMEs. When SME are the major operator of the value chain, you know what we create? Inefficient value chain operator, low processing capacity and low output, few job creation, low quality and packaging, high cost of production, because they are not able to leverage on economy of scale, high cost of production, non-competitive product in the export market. So here is my proposal to Katsina State government. Take a value chain and set up a PPP arrangement that can process from beginning to the end. Let SMEs do the primary processing and do the marketing and export. So I want to process soya beans into whatever form. As SME2 can buy from SME1 who have produced and harvested and transported to the warehouse, give it to this big, large processing plant who will process, package for me. So when I drop my raw material with them, for every 1,000 tons for every 1 ton of soya beans, there is a 1,000 unit of finished product of maybe soya milk or fupa soya or soya beans cake, whichever form you want to process it into. So SME2 focus more not on processing and packaging, but on marketing, sales, logistics, and distribution. Marketing, sales, logistics, and distribution. Marketing, sales, logistics, and distribution. Now, when you have this kind of arrangement, what does it create? Number one, efficient value chain operator. High capacity to process and hence high output. Good quality and good packaging. Low cost of production. Competitive product in the export market. Increased job creation. Increased job creation. Decrease inequality and decrease insecurity. In order for this state to enter into export market, for example, in this export market in a secure and sustainable way, the state have to partner with representative at destination, set up warehouse at destination, set up an entity as agent of business at destination, partner with independent agent and distributor at destination, organize and sponsor manufacturer for exhibition in export market. Now, how can the state profit directly? And this model can be used for cotton. This model can be used for sugarcane, onion, and other products in the state. The state can aggregate its people into cooperative, give them a purchase order to go and produce raw materials that will buy, but is doing this in conjunction with a private sector operator who understands this market and the business. The state dedicating half of the arable land to process sesame seed, 464,000 hectares at 1.5 metric ton yield per hectare can generate 696,000 metric tons of sesame seed. At FOB price of 1,300, you can have $900 million. $900 million of sesame seed. Sorry, of inflow. If you remove the cost of farming, the profit of the farmers, the cost of processing and export, this state will still have over 300 billion plus IGR of 11 billion. This state can have a reasonable income. A reasonable income to cover its budget 101% by focusing on one product, sesame seed. How will he do it? The state partner with a special purpose vehicle he has created in a Greek ratio. The state provide fund, and the SPB provide expertise. The SPB fund cooperative into farmers across the state, issue them purchase order backed by a guarantee, provide training, input, and other support to farmers. provide collection center for harvest, receive the product, clean them up, and process where necessary the product for export. Search for buyer abroad, do all the documentation and shipment, present document to the buyer's bank effect payment to the buyer, to the exporter, and the state can pay back the farmers, pay his partner, and have more than enough for himself. The question we should be asking is, why is Nigerian state not considering export? The impact of the suggested model for the state goes beyond generation of revenue. It has humongous impact on employment generation, increased economic activity in the state. This, in my opinion, is a more effective, efficient, and enduring model for diversifying the economy of any state in Nigeria. This model can also be replicated by federal government at the federal level, especially for the exportation of solid minerals. Bye-bye.